On today's gameplay review of Wingspan, a bird fight. So, I'm still on another winning streak in Wingspan. I've only lost one out of my past 12 games, 10 or 12 games. So, we're going to review this one. This was a very interesting one because I couldn't achieve my in-game goals as well as I would like, so I had to lean on other point scoring to give me the win. So let's go ahead and go through what we have. I'm going to be first player, so let's see what birds I have. I have a spotted owl, right? Corellian warbler, barn owl, painted bunting, and brown pelican. The first goal was eggs in forest. So I was thinking to myself, why don't I actually put my barn owl up in the grassland or out in the forest, right, instead of the grass? So normally I put that bird here, or if I'm really desperate, put it down here. But because I need to lay a lot of eggs up here, then it's probably best to go here, right? The other thing is my in-game scoring is ecologist, which is normally one of the easier goals in the game. It's whichever of your habitats have the least amount of birds, you score 2 per bird. So normally you could score 6 off of that by just putting 3 birds in each habitat. But it was not an easy game, so I struggled a little bit with that. The other one is wingspans wingspans less than 30 centimeters. Sometimes that one can be good, but really the birds that I had weren't great for that goal. Plus, a lot of those birds are worth very few points. So I'd rather play birds that have a little bit more scoring on them if possible. So my starting play will be to take the barn owl and the Corellian warbler. I like taking this one because it does have the photographer symbol, so in case I need to go that direction, I can. The other thing is let's look at these other goals. You know, birds in water, cavity nests, and platform nests. So this will work with the third goal, right? Corellian Wobbler doesn't work with anything really, but my first turn I'm going to get this ready duck. So let's go ahead and start up the game here. So we're all doing our discards. Okay, so I drew cards. Darko Men plays Morning Dove, which we've seen a lot in the few gameplays I've shown where people put it in the forest, which is a good thing. Another option though is to put it in the water, right? The only reason why it's slightly better here is because they need the eggs in the forest, right? So that's a good placement for it for the most part. But don't be afraid to put it in your water row. If you can like draw cards and lay eggs at the same time, you can then put like a the black crowned heron down here. So you'll have like you're producing eggs, using the eggs to get food and drawing cards, right? So I'm gonna play the ready duck right off the bat. I need to go grab one of these rats on my turn. So Darko Men played Forester's Turn, which is a star nest. So that'll be good for these two, right? Jester of the Court on their first turn just gained food. And they do it again, I think. They do it twice. No, they draw a card up the top. So I'll grab food, I believe, here. It's either food or draw a card. I draw a card. So I get this tree swallow. I'm like, that's very good. So is this bush tit. So what I'm going to do is try to, probably by round 2, set up a card tucking engine in my card row. We gotta get this barn owl out, right? We only have so many turns to do it. So Jester still has not played a bird at all. They've gained food once and drawn cards twice. Like, I like getting a bird out that has a power on it at least, so I can do something with it. So I take food and gain my second rat. Darkman draws cards. So, once again, Jester draws food. So that's 4 turns without any birds being played. So that's a very interesting start to the game, in my opinion. Then Darkamen plays one of my favorite birds, Spotted Towhee. Especially if you can get a Canadian geese or the sandhill crane with this, it's very good. But it also is just a bird that gives you food, right? When you get eggs. So it doesn't hurt to grab that card. It is no points though. You have to be aware of that. But it's also good with a lot of goals. It's a small bird. Has berries, one of its requirements, right? It eats wheat. So those are a few goals that it qualifies for, right? So my turn. I need to lay eggs. So I will lay eggs here. Now I gain food. What am I doing? Oh, I was gaining food for this. But I'm like looking at this and I'm like, Darkaman hasn't put any eggs on their morning dove. So I might actually win or tie this first goal. Which I didn't expect to after that dove was put out. I will now put 2 eggs out on my turn. The Jester actually got a bird here. Like, I don't understand why it took so long to put this out, really. Unless they had to draw it first. I might go back and look at their hands, like go look at it from their perspective. So, I know I'm going to win this if Darkaman doesn't lay eggs here, right? They play a bird. So they're thinking about next turn before finishing off this turn, which is, sometimes you need a little bit of foresight, but I'd rather achieve this first round and gain those 4 points and then work on the next one, right? Okay, so lay 2 eggs to get second place. Jester has played 2 birds. I see what they did. Like, this is probably why they were gaining all the food here. But to me, like, a lot of times this card here I like to save for the last round and then play 2 big birds all at once, right? They could have been having this bird out already and used it a few times, right? Save that big bird to the end, that great egret. Okay. Round 2. I need berries so I can get this tree swallow out, right? But I also want to get the bush tit out, right? So I'm trying to do it a little bit stealthy here. I don't want to alarm my 2 opponents that I'm going to play 2 birds. Snowy egrets drawing. Jesters drawing cards. Let's see here. My turn. So I think I draw. Gain food. Sorry. I play Cruellian, yeah. I didn't like either one of those, but I figured, you know, I have one of these nests. I have a star. I could possibly score like the lowest amount of it, the 4 points, right? Red-breasted nuthatch is pretty good if you can get this early, like in round 1. I would just ran this so many times in a row until like you were filled up this morning dove, right? So that's 5 times. Oh, I played this also so I could get 2 food at once. That's why I did that. Okay. Now this card here with the roll the dice, don't ever expect to win because of this. If you get 1 point on it, consider yourself lucky. The odds of you getting a lot of points off this card is not great. It was just because I only played this really because of the round 1 goal. It's also worth 5 points, so. So if we look at our opponents, they're pretty stagnant right now. Jester has a lot of food, so does Darkerman. They've been giving me fish with this bird here, the osprey. I really don't need fish, but I can always trade it 2 for 1, right? So I want to get enough for the bush tit. Atlantic Puffin's a really good card. It's also one I like to play late in the game, where, you know, if it's a choice between playing a bird and laying eggs, I'd rather play a gigantic bird like this that gives me 8 points in a end game scoring card. Sorry about that, I got distracted for half of a second. It's Darkerman's turn. So I played the bush tit on my turn. Like I said, I'm going to set up a tucking engine here, because I need to get cards. I'm running out of cards, right? So here's like what I was talking about, right? If you have this card and this card in the last round, you can catch your opponents off guard, right? And you could score like the minimum you could score is um, 12 12 points. Like if you had to play it here and here, because you have to get rid of 2 eggs each. So like that's why I hold on to this card for the like last round. Okay, so Jester, drawing more cards. I'm going to play a bird, obviously, my tree swallow. So now me and Dark Omen are tied for the most here. They're drawing cards. I'm also going to draw cards on my turn. They keep giving me fish, which I'm not going to complain about. Jester's turn, drawing more cards. Okay. Seeing this come out, I was really excited to see it. Then this comes out, I'm like, oh no, I can't tuck anything under here because I like both of those birds. This works with my endgame scoring. I already have a fish here, and 3 fish, could be a rat in the wild card, so I just need a worm. This one just needs a wheat worm, so. Okay, Darkomen. Laid eggs, I think is what they did, right? Yep. So it's my turn again. Jester just grabbed food on their turn. Sorry about that. Drawing more cards. I can use both my tuck abilities this turn. Draw 2 more cards. I'll discard the Dark-Eyed Junko. So I'm starting to get a bunch of yellow cards here. So I think I played these together. So we're in round 3. So we tied for first here. This one I should be able to win because I have 13 spaces. And if I play the mountain bird, it's another 5, so that's 18 egg spaces. So I need to definitely get more food, so I'm going to run that a couple times. Okay, my turn. Grab more food. Okay, so I have enough for this and enough for this. Okay. So Darkomen's played this black-bellied whistling duck. It's another one of these ones that work well with the spotted towhee, but you can't get them in the same row, right? So it's kind of like a lesser card to me out of the three that do that tuck a wheat, draw two, right? Or tuck two, I'm sorry. Discard a wheat, tuck two cards. Alright, so Jester. Drawing cards again. I'm not in any like panic here, really. I'm within 4, and I know I got some big cards coming out here shortly. So Mountain Bluebird and Cass and Sparrow. I played those two together. Still, it's a good combination, right? I think I do that so I can lay eggs, so I can try to win this one here. Because you got 3 here, 5, 6. 6 and 5 is 11, right? 2. So I have enough egg spaces to do that, but I can only lay like 4 at a time. So I'll do that on my turn. Gaining food. I think the problem that I see Jester having is it's not like they're like trying to like win the round goals, right? This part of the game is extremely important. Like, you can't just ignore this. You have to try to score points here. First or second at least, but it doesn't seem like they were like aiming towards that. Now they are set up for the last round a little bit. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2 only, so, but I have this in my back pocket right now. Okay. We're in eggs. Right. So now I am in the lead for this round with 9 eggs. With 1 turn to go. As soon as Darkaman did that, I'm like, I could win this one hands down, or I can take a chance here and let them tie me. But I think I just go for it. And you'll see, like, I'm pulling away now, right? So it took me a while to set myself up to throw all my points out, but I never was really in any, like, you know, doubt. This card, play this late in the game, is like a big mistake. Like, yes, it lets you draw more cards. It's worth 0 points, so you just lost 2 points. Now, you can use that maybe to gain this, but it's still not worth it. Like, just save your 2 eggs, you know? So I draw cards here. So I took a chance thinking that Darkaman wasn't going to lay eggs again. And if they did, they can only lay 2 unless they spend a food. So if they wanted to do it, they could do it. Now I bought this, I picked up this card with like some weird, like, thought that I might be able to put it out, like, but it was probably like a mistake to do that. So my goal next turn is very simple. I want to get my Roadrunner and that Clark's Grebby out, which means I have to draw food or take food again, right? Gain food, whatever you want to say. Wasn't the greatest draw. So I take 2 berries. Not sure. So Darkerman put out 2 birds. And now they have at least some type of points from eggs. The aggro. So play 2 birds, run eggs twice. That's the end game here, right? Which is a shame because I'm only going to score 4 on this one and 4 on this one. Pretty sure you've seen a lot of the games where I've scored like 17 points out of my end game scoring, but I was pretty confident not needing any more points. Because, you know, Darkerman has 2 cards, so maybe we'll be equal, and I have like a 11-point lead right now. Jester is gaining food again. Like, it seems like they're obviously newer at this game. You can tell. Like, unless you have like a big play, you shouldn't be gaining food at the end. Like, I needed to play this and this, right? Which would let me at least score on this card, right? So that's 3 plus 4 is what I'm getting out of this play, right? So all right. So let's look at this, right? This is 5, 6, 7, right? I'm sorry, like 5 points every time they run it, maybe 6 if they discard food. Which they get a weed every time, so they should do that, right? Shouldn't play any more cards at this point, I don't think. I'm getting like 3, 4, 5 also, maybe 6, so I can keep pace. My goal is to be tied with Darkerman in this one, and I don't care if blue overtakes us here because they're way behind at the moment. So they play a Ferungus Hawk, Ferunginus, which I think is like rust colored, you know. So that's 3. Not a very good card. Like, if they get lucky, they might roll a rat. Another hunter. So most 5, right? So we're all getting 5 from the aggro. So I don't see any way I can lose this unless Darkerman has a huge endgame scoring, which, looking at their board, I don't see anything that would like lend to that. Like, fish would be like 7 points, right? I don't see like a bunch of rat-eating birds or historian birds, right? Which are the apostrophe S's. Nothing where they could score like 10 or 12 points off of one in-game scoring card. So I'm pretty sure I won, is what I'm saying at this point when I was playing. So I also purposely didn't throw eggs on my platform nest yet until right now, because it's sort of like people aren't paying attention. Sometimes you can catch them off guard. So now we're tied, right? At 71 now. It's a commanding lead. So 33 on my birds, 8 on my bonus cards, which is lower than what I normally score. I scored 16 on my end round goals, right? 16 eggs, and then 7 with food and tucked, right? Or 9 with food and tucked. So 82 is a pretty good score. So I scored 10. Like I said, I was pretty sure I had won at that point, you know, like by the midway of round 4. I had just pulled away from him really far. So the real difference is, like, I played like a lot of high value birds, even though not a lot of them. Like these are like the only real low point birds that I played, like the 0 through 2s. A lot of them were like 5s and 4s, and I did have a 7, so that's another place. That's why I beat Darkamen. It's like the difference in birds, difference in end round, right? So, but yep. It's just to show you like a different type of game, because I think you've seen me play some games where I've scored like a lot of points in end game scoring, where, you know, sometimes you're not going to get that. Sometimes you need to just scrape up enough points to win. Again, it's like theme of this week for me. But just get enough to win. Even though I won by like, what is it? 13 points, right? That's more than that, right? Yeah, 13 points. Until that last round, I was like equal with them pretty much, right? Everybody was in the basically the game. So, but you know, once again, it's a matter of like just having a plan. Like, you know, I put these cards out. I made sure I got points off of them, right? I then shifted to like playing, you know, birds into my grasslands, you know. Then I could play those for points. This bird here basically won me the second round goal here, right? So, yeah. But, I mean, I don't know what else to say about Wingspan, to tell you the truth. It's just a matter of, like, making sure that you have a plan for each one of these round goals. You know, think ahead, because even though, you know, you're in round 1, you need to also be thinking about this one at the end to score a lot more points, right? I mean, if you're going to sacrifice one, I guess round 1 would be the one to sacrifice. But, you know, don't ignore these, what I'm saying. You know, make sure that you're putting birds out. Like, the quicker you put birds out, like you've seen Jester, right? I don't want to call them out, but they didn't have a bird out till like round 5 or 6 of the first round, where they could have played like this one pretty quickly. This one was a pretty easy bird to put out, and then you can use those to like actually use their powers to get more points, right? So but you know, like I said, they look like they're pretty new. Maybe they'll get better over time, watching other people playing against better players. I mean, there's players who are way better than me at Wingspan. Know all the percentages of like how much you'll get for like a hunting bird. Like, I know the general percentages of these birds, right? It's like, I think like it's almost like 65, 70, like 75 and 55. So like this is like 55, this is like 65%, and the ones that are over 100 centimeters are like 75%, right? To draw a card, that'll get you a point. But there's people that know it down to like the right percentage. I'm just generalizing things. So, but you know, we'll call it an end to the video here. If there's any questions you have about Wingspan that I can answer, please make sure you leave a comment. And until next time, keep on gaming. So if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Now leave comments if you have any other suggestions on this game or other games you'd like to see on this channel. There's also a playlist on the left side of the screen that you can click to see other videos I have made. And until next time, keep on playing.